Ladies and gentlemen, let's get geared up. Whether you're making a brand new character or just trying to fill those last few pesky slots on your main, I want to make sure we're on our way to get up to item level 619 and even further. And the best part about it is you have the option to do it all solo. So if you're not into the group content, which I do encourage, here are the best gearing options we have while keeping that solo player in mind. So let's start off real quick with the basics just to make sure we're getting everything covered. The first thing on everyone's list should be the World Soul Weekly Quest that you could find right here in Dornegal, right outside the Innkeeper. This time round we actually have some options though, so pick whatever activity you enjoy or whatever you think might be the fastest for you. My personal opinion, I would always recommend Awakening the Machine. It's a super fast quest with no travel time. You queue up in the main city of Gundergaz in the Ringing Deeps, and we just walk in and blow shit up. Not only is this going to give you a weekly cache, but it's also going to give you one of your Fractured Sparks of Omen, which is pretty damn important, and we'll touch on that more in a bit. We also got to touch on the other world events that are in each zone. These are going to be very much worth your time. We're talking about the Theater Troupe in the Isle of Dorn. Once again, the Awakening Machine event that we just spoke about in the Ringing Deeps. You'll have the chance to do a bit of double dipping if you choose this as your World Soul Weekly Quest. We got the Spreading the Light event in Hollowfall, and we got the Pact quest living down in Azgahet. Now, alongside those 4 activities, we also have 2 of the weekly special assignment world quests, and all of these are going to reward you with a cache upon completion. The first 2 caches you earn every week are going to reward you with item level 584 gear. Certainly not top shelf by any means, but we're not there yet, so calm down. The next 4 caches you open every week though will bestow upon you these restored coffer keys, and these are the diamonds we're looking for. We'll talk about how to farm these more in a bit, but if you're looking to maximize your gearing options as a solo player, getting 4 of these caches weekly is going to be your best bet. After you complete the 4 events you'd like to take part in, anything beyond that will only drop carved crests and rep gains, so it starts to drop off in importance depending on how much time you're trying to put in. Something else that's helping out us solo players is the new open world reward row in the Great Vault. This is just another way we can guarantee ourselves item level 602 pieces of gear and up just by participating in the open world content. A few other super easy options to look out for is of course the world quests. Take a quick browse and see what you have available, as these can reward you with up to item level 571 gear. I don't believe they scale with your item level as they did once upon a time, but they could still be upgraded to item level 593, so again a little bump in the right direction. Now, while you're out and about doing all these events and world quests, it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep an eye out on any rares you find along the way. These can drop up to 577 item level gear and a bit of reputation for a nice bonus for us there. Another source of very easy early game gear is from the world boss. We can kill the world boss once a week for a chance at some 603 item level gear, which can be upgraded all the way to 619. So this is definitely something we're going to want to hit. You could find the world boss by looking for the skull icon world quest in any of the 4 zones. Something else I would highly recommend, even though it's not strictly solo content, is heroic dungeons. These are going to be super easy walk in the park dungeons that reward you with 580 gear for putting in little to no effort. Now, to upgrade all this good stuff, we're going to be in need of the weathered and carved crests. The weathered crests will be obtained from pretty much any of the open world content that we discussed at the top, like world quests, events, as well as killing LFR bosses and heroic dungeons. But my personal favorite is when I'm just chilling out, you could fly around and find these glowing orbs all over the place. When you fly through these orbs, they drop between 1 and 2 of these weathered crests. You can find them in every zone, and it's a very easy way to cap those crests very quickly. And real quick, think about hitting that like button for me. It lets me know you're enjoying the video and it helps me out a lot. Thanks so much, everybody. Weathered crests will only take our gear up to item level 593 though, so moving past that, we're going to need to shift on over to the carved crests. These carved crests are a bit more stingy, but still pretty easy to obtain. We're looking at things like the various weekly events we spoke about. Each cache is going to reward you with 5 of these carved crests. The world boss is going to drop a handful of them for you. Delves around tier 6 or 7 are going to start dropping these for you as well, and these are going to be a very lucrative way to start getting these quickly. But with these carved crests, we can now start to upgrade any of our veteran gear up to 606, which is a really solid base to have for a newer character just looking to get straight into endgame. Now, by far the quickest way to get up to item level 590 gear is good old professions. You can craft these pieces yourself very easily if you have the crafting profession, or you have the option to place the order with the crafting order clerks. In order to get these 590 pieces of crafted gear, we're going to need these enchanted withered crests, which can be made by enchanting enchanters, so hit me up because I got you. Or you could just go ahead and put a crafting order in for these as well. The other main piece of the puzzle we need are these nascent weathered crests, which are purchased at the enchanting vendor. And these are going to cost you 30 withered crests. So now that we got all the crests situated, you can go look to craft any of these blue pieces of gear, head down to the optional reagents, plug in your enchanted withered crests, and this will allow you to get the cheaper blue crafted pieces all the way up to 590, which is kind of nuts. And then of course you need the other base required items to finish up your craft. So for every 30 withered crests you spend, you're going to get a nice piece of 590 gear. As of recording, our seasonal cap is sitting at 540 weathered crests, which is going to allow us to craft over an entire set of 590 gear with plenty left over. So if you're just looking to replace the last few pieces of low gear that's been dragging you down on a fresh tune, or just replace your entire set and skip the whole first leg of the gearing process with this system, the enchanted crests are going to be the way to go. Now you also have the option to get up to 619 crafted gear as a solo player. This is a higher tier upgrade, so it's going to be a bit more time gated as it requires one of the sparks of omen, which are rewarded to you once you combine 2 fractured sparks of omens together. And these are found by completing the important weeklies right outside the innkeeper in Dornegal. What's really nice is there's a catch-up mechanic, so if you miss one at any point in time, you can get back your missing fractures by completing any in-game content like raids, PvP, dungeons, delves, all the good stuff. So there's no feeling like you're behind. Once we combine those fractured sparks together, then you're ready to go. Pop in that spark of omens in the reagent slot alongside any materials you may need. I do recommend grabbing all rank 3 materials for this craft specifically, so you can get the highest potential item level piece crafted. You could bump that up even further though, upgrading your gear to 619 using the enchanted rune crests, or to 636 by using the enchanted gilded crests. And due to the bountiful delves dropping these, they're more accessible to us than ever before. Delves are your solo mini dungeon instances. And these by themselves allow us to very comfortably reach item level 619 without jumping through any hoops or forcing us into group content. They bring a variety of objectives and they all end in a boss fight with a nice treasure room. These could be done all by yourself. You could choose to bring some buddies with you. There's no timer, no rush. Finally, a nice piece of content that you could take at your own pace. So the best gear upgrades will be coming from the bountiful delves. Every day, 4 delves will be bountiful. They show up with a unique icon like this, and these are the ones you want to prioritize if your goal is to get geared as quickly as possible. At the end of your run, there's going to be these locked chests, and this is where your big upgrades will lie. To unlock these chests though, we need restored coffer keys, and you can get up to 4 of these per week by completing 4 of the weekly activities and opening those caches that we spoke about earlier. You can also look to combine these coffer key shards together to create even more keys, and you can get these fragments by completing specific daily quests that show these coffer key shards as a reward. You can also get these shards from the World Soul Memory event. In order to enter these events, you're going to need Radiant Echoes, which actually drops from the locked chests in the Bountiful Delves. So there's a nice cycle here. The more Bountiful Delves you run, the more Radiant Echoes you can get, which lets you run even more Bountiful Delves. The only other part that'll affect the gear that you receive is the tier delve that you're running. Tier 8 as of now will be the tier you want to be running. If you can manage that tier 8, you're guaranteeing yourself a piece of 603 gear for every key that you spend. So not only are we getting guaranteed gear every time we're completing these delves, but while doing this, we're also going to be unlocking more slots to choose from in our weekly vault row. When you complete these tier 8 delves, it's going to give us up to 616 item level rewards in our great vault, which is better than normal raid loot and even better than most heroic raid loot. It's kind of nuts what we're getting out of these delves. Now what's interesting is when you complete these delves, you also get a chance to get these special delve maps. When you use these maps, we're guaranteeing ourselves that our next high tier delve will have an extra treasure chest with even more loot. And on tier 8, it's going to contain item level 610 gear, which in turn can be upgraded all the way up to 626, giving you even more upgrade potential. These chests will also provide us with the gilded crests, the highest crests available in the season. These are the ways I use to gear up as a solo player. It's actually been really nice to have a reliable and optional way to get up to 619 and even further. What are your thoughts on all this solo content that they have to offer? And if I missed anything, or you just have other ways to get geared fast, leave it for everybody down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!